Catus Maximus here. Looks like the orange box is starting some sales early. They got a huge old section with like 30 to even 50% off. They got a whole bunch of stuff for super cheap. So they had these 10-inch three-piece set of impact adapters in a pretty darn tough case. I could probably use a sharper blade here too. Anyway, these things are pretty cool, I thought. They were 10 bucks and they were properly designed. They do come with a little thing to kind of keep them organized, which actually holds on surprisingly well. Surprisingly tough packaging, surprisingly decent holders. These are pretty well oiled. Once again, they're 10-inch, so we have our standard like 6-inch ones here. Quite a bit of extra extension. You may notice that for some reason the 6-inch and this 10-inch here don't seem to, this seems to be more than 4 inches. And you'd be right. I don't know exactly what the heck is going on, but when you get these 6-inch extensions, surprisingly enough, this one, the Harbor Freight Hercules, is the only one that actually is 6 inches. This Performance Tool and this Titan are actually 5 3/4 inches. Fortunately, at least for the orange box, these Huskies are indeed a proper full 10 inches long. The other thing I really liked about these is that they had increasing stem sizes. So I've got all these half-inch ones, and we can see that the Performance Tool is actually a little bit thicker on the half-inch drive, but the Titan and the Hercules are just basically 1/4-inch drive shafts all the way through. If we take a look at this Husky 10-inch, it's quite a bit thicker. It's thicker than the Performance Tool, and it's, if we put it next to the Hercules and the Titan, you can just see it has quite a bit more girth there. And so I thought that was a nice attention to details that they gave them thicker stems on the half-inch and the 3/8. And even the 1/4-inch has a little bit of a beefed up stem on it. Just because they're so long, these are going to end up turning into rotary springs known as torsional springs. They'll twist. And so you really do need them to be thicker. Otherwise, what happens is all your impact energy just goes into bouncing against the spring instead of actually delivering any energy. If we take a closer look at the centering of the stamping of the balls, which is a one of those things that on cheap tools, these can just be terrible. They can be not deep enough or just badly offset, and then eventually the balls will pop out. On these Huskies, they look pretty decent. I suppose we should do one other measurements here and see, or do a couple measurements just to see how good the hexes are. A little bit under, but that's just fine. 248 for a 1/4-inch hex. That's just perfect. How about on this one? They seem to be pretty consistent. How about the working end? This is a 3/8. Nominal size, 375. I like that. So it should have a pretty nice fit. Touch under, but 497 on the half-inch is actually pretty good. And of course on the 1/4-inch, it's actually sized 1/1000th bigger than the 1/4-inch hex. So that's not too bad. Alright, you got a socket here. We're going to see who has the strongest detent. We'll start off with these 10-inch Huskies. Yeah, that's actually pretty solid. That's a proper detent in there. Pretty strong spring. Definitely no worries about the socket rattling off. That's actually pretty good. Definitely satisfied with that. A lot of tools, they'll use insufficient springs. Here's the Titan. Oh yeah, see, the Titan's like that. On an impact, you shouldn't be able just to push the ball in super easy with your finger, because of course under the forces of it, the bit rattling around, sometimes the socket can pop off. So the Titan's too light. Performance Tool is not as good as the Husky, but it's still pretty decent. The Harbor Freight Hercules, it's about the same as the Performance Tool, but surprisingly enough, yep, the Husky is definitely the strongest detent. And on impact things, especially extensions, if you're trying to reach some in some hard to reach or get to area, you really want to have a pretty stout detent, because it would obviously suck to lose a socket in a hard to access place. So overall, I thought for 10 bucks on sale for big long 10-inch impact extensions, which just makes it easy to get a lot of reach. Sometimes they can just, you don't totally need the reach, but it's just more ergonomic for you. Maybe if you're working on the floor it gets you almost a foot higher up, so you're not bending over as much. And thought, wow, they're actually properly designed. They have strong detents. Actually, this Husky part right here is not half bad. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.